It's a quiet little town in Yavapai County, Mayer, Arizona, where fewer than 2,000 people live. Beyond the locked gates sit empty buildings, and filed away are memories that still haunt Andi Tuchten.
I'm right outside of the gates here.
Gate of what?
Of Spring Ridge.
That's her dad, Max. More than 20 years ago, Andi's parents sent her to Spring Ridge Academy as a teen.
It was difficult if we were to keep you home, Andy. What would you suggest? What was the right thing to do, knowing what you know today?
How angry were you at your parents?
I wasn't angry at them. I was more of like, what did I do to get, like, why are you sending me away?
When she was 15, Andi struggled with drugs and alcohol. She admits she rebelled against her parents, but never thought she would end up at SRA.
They searched me when I got here. I had to go into a room with staff and had to get down to like my socks and make sure I wasn't bringing anything in. I just kind of went along with it because I didn't really know what else to do. I was scared.
Spring Ridge Academy was a boarding school for girls from 13 to 17, licensed by the state as a behavioral health residential facility. This is the LinkedIn profile for Jean Courtney, the founder of SRA. How do you feel like on a daily basis here?
Numb, depressed.
Former residents like Andi are coming forward now after a federal civil trial involving Spring Ridge Academy that wrapped up back in June. Kimberly Swidey, a mother of a former student, sued SRA and won after accusing the school of fraud, negligence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. A jury awarded Swidey $2.5 million. Former SRA admissions director Kate Diley was named as a defendant as well.
You're getting bullied by adults that are in charge of you.
Frankie Clock also spent time at Spring Ridge Academy.
We were treated like we were criminals.
When I first got sent away, I probably cried for like a week straight, and I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone at first. So it was just, me and my thoughts and a lot of uncertainty.
Shannon Saul is another former student and resident of SRA. According to the lawsuit, tuition cost up to $9,000 per month, and SRA marketed sophisticated care for teens on its website and pamphlets.
You couldn't go to the bathroom until they said. You couldn't have water until they said. You don't know what time it is. You don't know if it's day or night because they tape up the windows.
Court documents say the staff also forced these underage girls to work for free.
The idea is to break you down so that you can start to heal, but obviously there's a lot that can go awry there as well.
SRA used seminars that both parents and students had to participate in, needing 4 phases: discovery, focus, accountability, and keys to success, which teens had to pass in order to graduate from Spring Ridge. Court documents say attack therapy was normal, a form of psychotherapy that is highly confrontational, in which the patient is verbally abused and humiliated by the therapist or other group members. Swidey's lawyers cite fear of being kicked out of these workshops as a reason kids tolerated the humiliation.
If you don't want to think of it as a cult, I would just say it was very coercive and controlled every aspect of our lives.
The lawsuit says Swidey's daughter, referred to in the case as Jane Doe, reflected on a workshop involving beating a chair vigorously with a rolled-up towel wrapped in duct tape that contained anger towards their parents.
They make it so that you are talking to this empty chair as if it's your abuser, and then at the end they have you repeatedly yell at the chair, "I give you back your shame," for sometimes as long as like 10 minutes.
Alleged survivors of SRA say they also had to dress up in costumes and dance for peers and staff.
I had to dress up in a Dorothy dress with tights and a leotard underneath. And then I had to act like Dorothy for the entirety of the song, Ease on Down the Road from The Wiz.
They made me put on a leotard and dance around like I was a ballerina because I have a lot of body issues.
And if you weren't authentic enough or seductive enough, Jeannie would ask you to leave, and then you have to wait for the next training months later, and your stay is extended.
And then there's something called service, a specific workshop involving massages.
They would want us to go in and do it for our parents who go through parent actions, so we would rub parents' feet and shoulders.
Fox 10 obtained transcripts from Spring Ridge Academy's trial. Testifying on the stand was Gene Courtney, the founder of SRA, who confirmed this exercise, saying, quote, "They were thrilled. They massaged their backs, massaged their hands, and it was called anonymous service at that time. And the girls loved doing that for their parents, and sometimes there were other girls involved." Courtney also confirmed that staff members massaged the girls too, according to transcripts.
You're still blindfolded at this point. Start massaging your shoulders. You have no idea who's doing it to you. You have no idea what's going on. And at the end, it's revealed that it was like everyone that was staffing the actions.
Courtney also told the court she sometimes participated in massages. Courtney testified at trial that she has no background in psychology and she is not a licensed therapist. Fox 10 was set to interview Courtney for this story, but things changed. So Gene Courtney, the founder of Spring Ridge Academy, just canceled our interview that we've been working to set up with her through her spokesperson, had questions written out for a 15-minute Zoom interview, and she has just backed out. But she did send us a statement that reads in part, quote, "Despite our efforts, Spring Ridge has been the subject of a significant misinformation campaign aimed at denigrating the programs which helped hundreds of girls. Former students who have shared positive experiences with the school have been attacked and bullied by others online. We categorically deny these allegations, including claims that Spring Ridge employed attack-based therapy. This did not occur." Courtney goes on to say, "While I cannot speak to the details of ongoing litigation, I strongly dispute the accusations that have been made against Spring Ridge." Lawyers for Spring Ridge Academy and Kate Diley have not responded to our request for comment. The plaintiff has filed an appeal to add 7 more people to the list of defendants, including Gene Courtney. The troubled teen industry represents facilities for troubled youth, making up a multi-billion-dollar business in the United States. Meg Applewhite is the co-founder and CEO of Unsilenced, a nonprofit organization helping victims of institutional child abuse.
The troubled teen industry is a network of powerful and punitive congregate care facilities that are spread out throughout pretty much all of the states. And we're looking at 120,000 to 200,000 youth being funneled into them annually.
Celebrity hotel heiress Paris Hilton reportedly experienced mental and physical abuse as a teen at a boarding school in Utah.
And just to know that it's still happening in these places and it's turned into a $23 billion a year industry that is paid by our taxpayers is just so heartbreaking.
And kids are leaving, calling themselves survivors, and no other healthcare system in the world would that ever happen without having stricter regulations and oversight.
For those who lived at SRA, there's a paper trail of trauma left behind. Fox 10 went through several Yavapai County sheriff's reports and surveys done by the state's Department of Health documenting incidents of suicide attempts or ideations. According to DHS findings in 2021, a biopsychosocial assessment revealed one girl said, quote, "It is just thoughts. Sometimes I have a plan or intent, but none right now in this moment. I sometimes act on this plan."
I wrote one letter to my mom that at the end, the final line was just, "Please help me, mommy." That really hits home for me because I just remember the helplessness I felt.
20 years later, Andi's dad believes he was taken advantage of during desperate times, trying to make sure his kid stayed alive and out of jail.
We were, again, under the impression that we were in the right place, being encouraged by the right people, and it turns out that wasn't the case.
We weren't the only ones that have gone through something like this. Like, there's other survivors or people out there.
In Mayor, I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.